Tony. He's Mike, and today we are talking about the Tony Todd vehicle, 2012's Sushi Girl.
Tonight is the first night in 6 years that our boy Fish has breathed free air. I thought we might do something unique.
What do you want from me?
There's a few loose ends that we need to tie up.
I bet all of you went looking for those diamonds and found shit.
I really wish you hadn't come to this, but you don't leave us many options.
Why didn't you tell me you had all these fun playthings here already?
Torture? Oh, no, it's not. Not yet, anyway.
So, it's gonna be one of those nights.
Watch anything with Tony Todd in it. That's it. That's all I got. I love you, Tony Todd. I just want you to know that.
I think this love first started with the remake of Night of the Living Dead.
Yes, Night of the Living Dead, and and then Candyman, and then he was Kern on Star Trek TNG, and he played multiple Klingons.
Well, this also has, speaking of Star Trek, I mean, there's that Star Trek, but sci-fi royalty, we have Mark Hamill in this one as well.
Yes.
And then just to finish out the cast, Sonny, Chiba, and Courtney, who plays the Sushi Girl.
Yes, I thought this film might appeal to you because while I know you're not big into gangster films, there's also a healthy dose of torture porn in this one.
Now open up. Say, oh, come on. Hey, I'll give you a lollipop one more time, huh?
There is. Let's go to the plot real quick before we falls deep in this thing. Basically, Noah Hathaway, who plays Fish, just gets out of prison. First he calls his kid, and his kid's like, who is this? Hey, well, just get your mom. And the mom picks up the phone, is like, who is this?
Hello?
Hey, it's your dad. Can you just, look at your mom?
Yeah. Hello?
Hey.
Who's this?
Oh, it's you.
And then she hangs up on him. So
They moved on, and then to make matters worse, he walks outside, and there's some large man just waiting for him, and so he's like, well,
I guess I'm going with you now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so then it cuts to Tony Todd and this lovely Sushi Girl, which if you don't know what a Sushi Girl is, she's a beautiful girl that lays naked and you eat sushi off her. Yeah, that's
It's a if you can afford it.
Exactly. So anyways, so Tony Todd has hosted this party. Mark Hamill shows up first.
Yeah.
And you have party favors.
Ain't she, full service, as they say? Maybe. It depends.
Depends on what? Don't be so cute.
It depends on how the night goes.
You get exchanged there, and I believe is it Max that shows up?
Yeah,
next?
Max shows up second, and because Max and Mark Hamill's character, they hate each other.
Yes.
Children, play nice.
I'm not working with this faggot again.
Have another drink.
Why is he here?
We need him.
And just bitch out again, you know that.
Hello, I'm standing right here.
And then the kid from Stargate, whatever his name is, he shows up.
The f*** is this?
What does it look like?
Looks like 4/5 of a reunion at a titty buffet.
And then our guest of honor shows up, and basically what it boils down to is they were all involved in a heist. The heist went terribly wrong. He was the only one that was caught, but he was also the one that had the diamonds. He was put in jail. He didn't say a word, but they think that he's basically stolen the diamonds.
If this is supposed to be my last supper, let's just cut to the chase. What do you want from me?
There's a few loose ends that we need to tie up.
Loose ends?
Those little sparkly loose ends in that bag.
Yeah, the cops took them. They're the only loose ends.
Them ass ain't loose no more.
You really think I would try to rip you all off? I just wasted the last 6 years of my life protecting all of you.
We want what's owed us.
And I want my 6 years back, but I ain't gonna get them, just like you're not gonna get your fucking diamonds.
So they take turns with the game of torture the guy who might be able to tell us where the diamonds are, and shenanigans ensue.
Do you want to talk about the good first?
I love everything about this movie. This is a movie that's, and I'm just going to say this right now. This is not an expensive film.
No,
it's
absolutely not.
It's one cast of characters all in one room with some flashback sequences that are shot in a hotel room and a jeweler, the jeweler that they robbed. And that's about it.
And then an outside scene where they had the accident.
Yeah. And then beyond that, I'm going to say that Mark Hamill had done a lot of voice acting at this point, but this was like the first movie that he popped up in where he actually acted. Mm-hmm. He wasn't playing Luke Skywalker or a knockoff Luke Skywalker. He brought it, because I've seen Mark Hamill in Slipstream and The Guyver and a bunch of other films, and they were always just like, yeah, play it like Luke in that third film. But
except for Corvette Summer.
But that all being said, Mark Hamill's character, the only other performance I can think of that is reminiscent of the depth that he brings to the character is the Fall of the House of Usher series that he just recently did.
Yeah.
Because he's unrecognizable as Mark Hamill or Luke Skywalker. Or so I love that he just delved that deep into the character, and I loved what he brought to that particular character.
I think Mark Hamill's character is a smidge over the top. He's cranked like 11 and a half.
He's played as he's straight, but he's very effeminate, but he's also very drama queeny.
Oh, you sentimental old slut. You kept my old work shoes.
It's fine, but it's a little excessive. Now, who's even more excessive is Max, and that guy really gets on my every last flipping nerve in this fucking movie.
Be my shit.
He's dumb. He's the muscle. He is the heavy. That's all he is. And he is played exactly kind of like he's written, I'm going to assume, in that he's not a thinker. He's not a strategist. He is the guy that is just brute force 100% all the time.
Yeah.
And while I feel his character gets a little too much screen time, I'm going to say that the back and forth between Mark Hamill and Max, I think it's worth it, but they could have dialed it down a little bit.
He's f***ing dead. You f***ed up, Mongoloid! We needed him alive, Max! Oh, I knew it. I f***ing knew it. You f***ed this up just like you f***ed up with the goddamn cops! Fuck nothing up. Bull f***ing shit. You are a f***ing failure, man. Just like your f***ing father.
The character that I don't think gets enough screen time is the other robber, the kid from Stargate. Anyway, because they play it very close to the vest on all this, and he's like apparently was friends with this guy. He's the one that brought him into their gang, and so he doesn't want to indulge immediately in the torture to get the information out of him.
Why are you here, Francis? I mean, if you don't want to contribute, maybe you don't want your share of the profits. Are you in or are you out?
No, I'm in. But I'm sitting this round out.
But then you find out later that he's wearing a wire and there are cops that are recording the entire conversation, but Tony Todd knew all that.
Yeah.
So he had the cops killed in the parking lot, and but he managed to ditch the recording when they ripped his shirt open.
Yeah.
I would have liked a little bit more meat in that character. I would have liked a little bit more. I don't know. I don't want to say nervous twitching, like I hope they don't know that I'm recording this, but like, you know, something that kind of, I don't want to say telegraph, but I'm going to say telegraph, you know, like the fact that something was off.
Yeah. Because it's not revealed till like almost like the last quarter of the movie.
Last third of the film. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. It would have been nice if there was some some sort of hint.
Tony Todd is just Tony Todd, but you know
Yeah.
what?
That's all it needed to be in this movie.
Don't
really.
mess with perfection.
You know what this is?
Is that a trick question?
Answers, not attitude, is the name of the game tonight. Fish. Me and that clock have shared a lot of time together. See, when all you do for a living is poke lava at a cold, powdered asshole of Pennsylvania, you develop some nasty habits. I used to be deathly afraid of that timer, because whenever it went off, it bit my ass. Whenever I complained, he said, I had it easy. I ain't had no gratitude, 'cause I ain't seen no prison camp. That's why he took me down the mill. Teach me some respect. My father gave me 3 minutes on that timer to show some respect. And if he didn't like what I had to tell him by the time he heard that ding, try my best to cover the bruises.
And I'm going to say this. This is one of those rare films, and this is the reason why I like this film so much. This is one of the rare thrillers that doesn't give itself away. You don't know what's happening until it has happened already.
Yeah.
It's not like you saw it coming and then we're like, oh yeah, I figured it out 20 minutes ago. So I respect it for that, because I've seen plenty of big budget thrillers that couldn't manage to pull that off. So
There's a lot of things I don't like about this movie.
well, talk to me.
So what the couple I already mentioned is the overacting of both the Max character and Mark Hamill's character, whatever his name is, I don't remember. They chew up way too much time, way too much scenery, and then there's not enough time, like I said, with Fish, and there's not enough time with
whatever his name is, the guy from Stargate.
the Stargate guy.
And I may be
that kind of
misremembering that too. So
Yeah.
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
And then you absolutely forget about the sushi girl till like the very end. She's barely involved in this at all whatsoever, which I kind of get, because it is set up to that, hey, Sonny Chiba's like, remember your training.
Remember, you are trained. Don't speak. Don't make eye contact. Don't move a muscle. No matter what you see or hear.
You're just a fucking block of wood. You're just there. You're just a plate. That's all you are. Yeah, really, those two things. I mean, the overacting really takes me out of it. It's hard to really get engaged in it.
Yeah.
And that Max character really just drove me up an effing wall. I think in the hands of a better director to dial those back would have made this more enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part of it kind of sucked.
It was just them two being cranked up to 11 on this one. So
yeah, really. I mean, just a few little tweaks would have made this more enjoyable for me.
I'm gonna say, given the small budget, I'm sure they probably had a really short and I'm not even gonna fault the director. I'm gonna say that it was probably more a budgetary limitation, because if your
budget has nothing to do with directing your actors at all.
It does have something to do with the
doesn't.
fact that you don't have the time to go back and get multiple takes to tweak a performance on that. That's a financial reality that you're paying actors for their time, and if you only have 5 days to get 25 shots.
I see your point, but I don't buy into it. I'm not faulting the actors for it either. He's a fine actor, and he achieves what he plans to achieve. Both of them, Mark Hamill and Max. I'm not faulting them. They did what they were supposed to do, but somebody just needed to direct them to tone it back a bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because the one character that we get just that smidge of, like I said, the driver, the one that we get a lot of characterization about him in a very short period of time. I love the fact that he's obsessed with, he's got to take a laxative before they do the job because he had a friend of his that got killed on a job and the guy crapped his pants on TV. And he did that in front of his mom, man. That's not right.
Did you ever hear of Vinnie Parker? He goes out with the Munsey twins, a couple of retards, on this big Brinks gig a couple of years back. Heist goes bad. But thanks to Vinnie Parker, they get away with almost $2 million cash. Sure enough, Vinnie Parker ends up with 2 bullets in his face. and his bowels release all over the goddamn scene. Oh, you think that's funny, Cupcake? He held that shit all day. He thought he was gonna get to go after the gig, but he was wrong, wasn't he? And some f***ing copter overhead catches it, airs it on the 6 o'clock news, man. Poor Vinny laying there dead, blood oozing out of one end, piss and shit flowing out of the other, and it's all over the goddamn 6 o'clock news. His mama saw that shit.
So anyways, the big reveal.
The big reveal is that the diamonds fell out, and she found the diamonds when she went to go check on her boyfriend, and she took that money and she tried to assuage the loss that she had, and then she figured out, no, that's not cutting it. I have all this. I want revenge.
Fugu can be quite satisfying when it's cut the right way. It's a real thrill. But I didn't think that the toxin would get the better of you so fast. So, we're gonna have to make this quick.
And this was all a plot. She's the one that paid off the sushi chef to poison the blowfish. So if it had been nice and quiet and they'd all actually sat around and ate blowfish, they were going to die anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it was all okay. Nothing in here really particularly blew me away on anything. What's Her Face is absolutely gorgeous. And again, the acting is very fine. It's just the story is kind of so-so. You know, no, I take that back. Really, it all comes back to those two performances.
Yeah.
Really just suck it right out of me.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
So
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I've got for this. And unfortunately for me, because of those two performances, it's not a recommend for me.
So it's a recommend for me. I own it. So I mean, I own it on Blu-ray, and I mean, I bought this one back like when it did the festival circuit, and I heard about it and was like, I want to check that one out, and checked it out and really dug it and bought it, and here we are. But
no, having said that, I mean, if you like crime stuff, this may be your jam. It may not. If you like. You know, things like Snatch or something like that, Guy Ritchie films.
Yeah.
It's an American Guy Ritchie film for the most part, so.
I was going to say, the reason I put this one on the list was because you really enjoyed The Loved Ones quite a bit. And this one, I think, kind of, you know, dovetailed into that. And I know you're not a fan of gangster films or crime thrillers, that sort of thing.
No,
but
and I see where you're going to go with this with the torture porn of it, but the torture porn of it didn't really land for me.
Yeah?
No, not in this particular context. Again, because that Max character is a little too much. And while the timer thing was like an interesting element to throw in there, they didn't really follow the rules of the timer too particularly well. They kind of were pretty loosey-goosey with it.
Well,
and I don't really know. It was just like, you know, wait your 3 minutes and then you can beat the snot out of him until Tony Todd says it's enough. So
well, you got 1 minute. He gets.
There's a lot of times one longer than 1 minute. So it was. No.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot. No, there's elements that just didn't land.
I'm going to say that for what it was, the budget that they had to work with, for me it works. I respect it as exactly what it is, a little indie film that came out of nowhere that was done on a shoestring. So it's not for everybody. I'm going to say that right now, and I can admit that. But I enjoy this film for exactly what it is. I think it's fun. It's a distraction. It's 90 minutes that I don't mind spending with these characters. So.
Right. Well, this is 20 minutes of your guys' time that I'm done with. So, anything else?
No, I'm all good. So
we'll catch you guys the next time.
overhead, catches it, airs it on the 6 o'clock news, man. Poor Vinny laying there dead, blood oozing out of one end, piss and shit flowing out of the other, and it's all over the goddamn 6 o'clock news. His mama saw that.